Hi guys, it's Aaron Leaf Green, the Green Psychic. First off, I want to say thank you to everybody that has liked, followed, and subscribed to the video so far. I know it's going to take a while, but the more subscribers we get, the closer I get to being able to go live and do readings for people in chat. So, on the road. I'm personally excited by that. Okay, so there's another little tiny change that I'm going to do this week. From now on, I'm going to put in timestamps so you can just skip to the part of the video that refers to you rather than watching the whole thing. If you want to watch the whole thing, that's fine because go for gold. But at the end of the video, I'm also doing like a final thoughts wrap up because I found that over the last couple of weeks, there's a lot of things that are in each deck that kind of apply to everybody. So I kind of sum up the week for everyone if you're interested in that. Of course, if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. But let's get into it. So this week we have crystals instead of numbers. Not exactly one for math. Nothing wrong with it, but it's just doesn't calculate with me. So we've got the clear quartz crystal, we have the amethyst, and we have the citrine crystal. Now, I'm not particularly going to do anything about the meanings at the moment. That's something that I'll cover later on. Like I said, I've got many plans for the channel. And B, everybody's going to have a different opinion about what crystal means what. So if you genuinely are trying to learn about crystals, my advice to you is just go with your gut. People will swear that there's a right answer for each one, and then you go to one crystal shop and they'll say it means this, and you go to the next one across the street and they'll say it's the opposite. Basically, I just go with my gut. I've read many books, and some things resonate with me and other things don't. And that's what I encourage everybody that's on their own individual spiritual path. You'll come across, and I'm not just talking about crystals, I'm talking about advice and philosophy in general in life. You'll come across things that resonate with you and you're like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Pay it forward, for instance. Somebody does you a good deed, so you go and do somebody else a good deed. That resonates so much with me. It's incredible. Other people are like, no. And okay, I kind of put that in a black and white term. There's no right or wrong there, but, when you're on your own spiritual journey, it is important to not just accept things at face value. Just don't accept something blindly, especially on the spiritual or religious side of things, or political side of things. It's just kind of like there is no... For you as an individual person, there isn't technically a right or wrong answer. What is right for you might be wrong for somebody else. What's wrong for somebody else might be right for you. So that's kind of why I'm not going into crystal meanings just yet. At a later date, I'll give you my personal opinions and what I use them for and how they'll help myself and my clients. But I digress. Welcome to the Green Psychic's rant. Okay, so let's get into it. If you have chosen the clear quartz crystal, okay, just for the record, I'm putting up the photos after I've done this video, so you've probably already seen the crystals with the cards. I haven't actually taken those photos yet. Ooh, time travel. Ooh. Okay, I'm a little loopy tonight. A lot of sugar. I feel like I'm on a sugar high and I'm just not. Okay, here are your cards. Let's turn them over. You chose the clear quartz cards. Here are your cards. Whoops, sorry. Just bump everything. Got big sausage hands. Okay, so let's start. Alright, so the first card out is the Authority card. Now, the Authority card is a bit of danger card, it's a bit of procrastination. Authority is dealing with people that kind of have more of a say in things than you do. Okay, so this is the overall card this week, and I feel like it's actually telling you that this is the overall difficulty that you're going to be facing this week, okay? So this, because it's only a week ahead, it's not a major thing, but it is kind of discussing, like, possibly work problems and dealing with people at work that have more of a say than you, and authority in general, okay? It's interactions with police or government agencies, all that sort of thing. So it just feels like right now there's a lot of it going around because financial year has ended, so a lot of the government agencies are coming out of the woodwork and causing problems for a lot of people. So it is kind of that sort of thing. Now, this isn't necessarily saying you have anything to worry about or that there's any danger there. It's more of an inconvenience, okay? The communication card is here. It's upside down. So I feel like that this is a lack of communication, obviously, in the whole situation. I feel like that you're not being heard and that it's going to be, okay, well, I've already spoken about this and now I have to go through it again. It's that sort of feeling, frustration this week. So just with doing this, it is something that we're going to face throughout our entire lives, having to go through the same things again and again and again. When you're stuck in a serious, in a situation that has to do with bureaucracy, government stuff, remember to breathe and remember that the people that you're interacting with are just doing their job. You know, they don't know the full story until you talk to them. A lot of them have bad attitudes. A lot of them are just normal people that are used to being abused constantly. Like, think of somebody working at Centrelink abused constantly, or, you know, so take that with a grain of salt, okay? You catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar, although you catch more flies with shit, but let's not go there. Okay, so the next card over is the spiritual path card, okay? So even though that this week is going to be a bit difficult, a bit challenging is the word, a bit frustrating and challenging, not difficult so much. I feel like it's a really great chance for a lot of people to take this as a test. Okay, well, you know it's coming, so instead of like just being surprised by it and reacting to it blindly as most of us do, take the time to actually use this as a challenge to not let this frustration get to you and work on those things that make us the triggers that, oh my god, I've told you this 100 times, like, you know, work through that, because I feel like that this is going to make you happy. I do feel like a lot of people are going to get off the phones and come out of a lot of these meetings and interactions being, well, that sucked, but I'm really proud of how I handled it. It was like I was expecting it, so I was able to deal with it ahead of time and prepare myself, and I'm actually happy that I've walked away. Yeah, it's a crap situation, but I'm happy. And when things like that happen to you, you kind of like learn a lesson there and you take that with you. So next time a situation occurs like that, you can do the same thing. Leads to a life of happiness. Okay, so the next card over it is the surprise card, okay? So, yeah, some of this communication might come as a surprise, but the surprise card is also about celebration, so I feel like that it's going to be a good outcome. I don't want to use the saying bite your teeth and bear it or grin through it, whatever, because no, work through it in your own way, but it is kind of like if you approach this in a very positive way, you're going to have a positive outcome. There is the bad clown in the background that I'm being drawn to. I'm not always drawn to him, which does indicate bad surprises. Now, I feel like that karma. I feel like that this is only going to apply to people that have dodged the system along the way. Look, no judgment from me, but there may be some catch up there for you. Other than that, it is saying, look, this isn't a big bad surprise. It's almost like you knew this was coming in some way, and you will make it through. Okay, I've got the spirit energy card here, and it's upside down, so this is actually good. It's out of context. This card is always going to be out of context when I'm doing a normal reading for people, because this is to do with finding out if there's energy around, spirits around an individual client. But in general, this card being here upside down is actually saying that there's not a lot of negative energy around you this week. There's not, like the authority card, it's not that somebody has it out for you and you've got to fight to to cover your ass or anything like that. It's not along those lines. Don't take these things personally. Mother, if you're watching me, government agencies, do not take it personally. Like, there are going to be communications that we get, you know, like failure to vote notification. And, you know, it's very easy to take that personally when you've spent your whole life voting and the one time you... But a lot of these things are automated by the systems and computers. So with all of this, don't take it personally. Same as if it's via work. I don't feel like any restructure or conversation around work is about you personally. It is kind of like there's no ill will in any of this, okay? So don't take it personally. And when you're in a bad situation, if you're able to not take it personally, especially when it isn't personal, you've won half the battle. Okay, so again, coming out and being surprised by how you've handled it. The next card is the love card. So I do feel like there's going to be a lot of... Look, this may be a good time for romance to blossom around you and all those good things romantically, but we are general, and I am getting pulled to, even though that there is this, what feels like a personal attack coming at you from this authority, there's also a lot of love and support around you. Okay, I'm getting more drawn to the support, actually. So, look, if you are getting notified about this, that, or the other, and you don't understand, there is going to be people around you that you can speak to, that can explain it. Do a Google search, or reach out and ask somebody. But there is going to be support to help you through it. And in a loving way, not a condescending way. You know, you will get support which will resolve the whole situation. And the last card here is the younger gentleman, gender aside, floating in outer space, just going with the flow. Okay, laying back, enjoying life. And that's exactly how you need to take this week. Just lay back, go with the flow. It's going to all work out. It's going to be what it's going to be, one way or another. So when you get pulled into the principal's office or the manager's office or in by the government, you can either go in kicking and screaming, fair enough, which is what a lot of us like to do, or you can choose to go in with your head held high and not allow them to get to you. It's your choice. There's no right or wrong here. But it is your choice, and it's about what you want to, how you want your, I don't know why that just did that. It's how do you want to live your life, okay? It's like, do you want to live always kicking and screaming, or do you want to take on something head first and turn it into a positive for yourself? Like, there's a lot of negative shit going on in the world at the moment, and yeah, we can kick and scream and rage, and or we can understand that this is the way things are going and there are changes that are coming, and we can hold our head up high and turn it into a positive and see the silver linings in everything. Because good or bad, every experience we go through, there's something to learn. Okay? Alright, well, that is your reading if you chose clear quartz. Hi guys! Hope the timestamps have come in helpful. So this reading is for anybody that chose amethyst. Now, just as I deal with the cards, obviously I've put up pictures of the decks with the crystals. I haven't actually taken those photos yet, but I will. So I just wanted to say thank you again to everybody that subscribed, and I hope you're enjoying these weekly readings. Hope they're helping. Okay, so now I'm just going to pull out the cards and see what we've got. Volume on the microphone down as soon as I remember how to do that. Okay. Okay, so now we've got your cards. Let's have a look. Alright, so the first card out for the amethyst pile is the questions and pathway card, okay? So this is, you have choices this week. Okay, there may be situations that are around you that look, a lot of times we feel like we don't have a choice. Everything we do, we have a choice. We have a choice to get up out of bed every day. We have a choice to get dressed and go to work and pay our bills. Or we can choose not to do those things, but you always have a choice. Might not be the best choices, but you do. So there might be some choices this week. But yeah, that's ahead, okay? So it's also the pathway card. So with these choices, I feel like that these choices are going to take you on different paths. So that is something to be aware of. Now, I'm not necessarily getting good path, bad path. Probably because this is general for everybody, but I'm not really feeling any major danger in making these choices, okay? So, yeah, look, you're probably going to spend a lot of the week stewing over what decision to make. Procrastination is one of the worst things we can go through or do to ourselves. Please try as hard as you can to get out of doing that as a habit. Trust me, it took me a very long time. If you can't make a decision, flip a coin. Leave it up to the universe. But you're best off trying to work out a decision based on the pros and cons, okay? And don't kick yourself at a later date if you feel you made the wrong decision. Make sure that when you make a decision, you are telling yourself that I am making this decision based on all the information that I have at hand and the current circumstance that I'm in. Too often do I hear people going, "Oh, I wish I hadn't have done that. I should have done this." And I'm like, but you couldn't do that back then because of A, B, C, Z, D. Well, all these different reasons why you couldn't have done that. You weren't in the headspace. You didn't have the facilities, whatever. So don't do that to yourself. It's cruel. Cruel to yourself. All right, so the next card over is the work card. So very obviously there may be decisions around work. I'm not necessarily, look, there are people that are thinking about new jobs and new careers and new pathways, and that's really great. To those people, if you do make any decisions this week, because this is about making choices and asking questions. So I don't feel like that. If you choose tomorrow to be a gynecologist, I don't know why that was the job I picked, then you can change your mind just like I'm changing my mind and saying I want to be a carpenter. So yeah, you're not locked in, okay? So if you're looking at career paths or jobs or whatever, shop around, Don't just, I want to get out of this job, so I'm going to take the first thing, because you're going to be in the same situation. You might as well pick something that you like, okay? Now, I've got the work card here, and the battery's going to die again. So there are choices around work. There might be options of overtime or options to go into other departments. There are going to be choices to do with that as well. So, look, with work, I feel like that you have a lot of choice, basically, this week of what you want to do and where you want to go. Do you want to do this? Do you not want to do this? And I think you will be heard. So management's going to come to you, hey, what do you think about this? Or people might want to swap shifts with you. You get to have your input, basically. Now, this is good. The next card over is the springtime card. So this is a time of being, basically, the first thing I want to say to you is being heard, being listened to, especially in the work sort of area, which could also be school as well, but you put your head down, you work your butt off. Normally you're ignored or not listened to. I feel like that work is paying off now. Maybe not with the current job, but your resume is bulking up with every day that you spend at your job. So again, choices, getting another job, your resume is going to look, everybody thinks their resume is horrible. It's actually a lot better than you think. Most companies don't care about your resume. It's just, are you willing to turn up and do the job? I tell people all the time, when you're applying for jobs, especially on Seek, they're all intimidating, they're all overwritten. Apply for just any job that you think you may even be able to do. Jobs that intimidate you, like, I don't even know what that says, apply for it. If they call you and say there's an interview there, then clearly you're capable of doing the job, because otherwise they wouldn't do that. And then at that point, you've got an option whether you choose to go for that interview or choose to not. Your choice. But you never know. Okay, so I've got the home card here and it's upside down. So it is kind of saying, look, there may be a few issues around the home, but not I don't feel that's the main thing that this card is saying this week. I'm actually feeling like this is directed at people that are thinking about moving or changing homes. I don't feel like that there's any danger in that. I just feel like it's something to think through. Think carefully from every angle, the goods, the bad. Ask the questions of why do I want to move, where do I want to move, what do I want to move to, all that sort of stuff. Okay, so there are a lot of questions. Are you still happy in your home? Now, the house card is home is where the heart is. This could be symbolizing a relationship, a partnership, a business. It could also be work. Are you still happy with this, or do you want to move on? If so, why, and what do you want to achieve? Like, interview yourself, basically. And it's good because that's how we learn about ourselves. Now, I've got the Winter card here, and it's upside down. So the Winter card is all about protection. It's upside down, so it is saying that, like I said, I don't feel like that there's any big bad danger around, or the asking yourself questions doesn't normally lead to big and bad dangers unless you're high in anxiety. But yeah, there's a person, one or two, that I'm thinking of specifically here, but in general, asking ourselves questions and working out where we want to go isn't necessarily a bad thing. This protection card being upside down is like, you don't need to watch your back. There's no danger here. There's nothing wrong with exploring options. Okay, I've got the pregnancy card here, and it's upside down, so it is saying that these changes, these choices, these questions that you're asking in these pathways aren't going to happen this week. It's about asking yourself these questions, and where you want to go and what you want to do. Okay, because it is coming. It's just going to take some time, because once you decide what you want to do or where you want to go, then you need to research on how to get there and what's the best route, and all of that other stuff. So it is a positive that it's not happening this second, because there goes the pressure off your shoulders. You can think it through a little bit more and decide what you want to do. The last card here is the learning card. It's the life lessons card. It is hurdles along the path to pure happiness and spiritual growth and all of that good stuff. We are constantly getting challenges from the universe or from God or whatever. If we learn these lessons, we progress with our happiness and our life, and we move to the next stage. If we don't, we keep going around in circles. Those that do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Now, the thing with these life lessons is, and I'm going to throw this out there, is that we might overcome something that we've struggled to overcome for many, 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 many years. And we're like, finally, I've done it. And then we move on and we get another challenge. 6 months later, the universe throws us back to that last hurdle that we overcome. We're so proud of ourselves, kind of like temptation. And it's the universe going, now, did you really make it over, or was it just that one instance? So be aware of that as well. So there might be some challenges that you feel that you have overcome in the past that are going to rear their ugly head, and you're going to be tempted. That's the thing. It's about the temptation of giving in. Oh, maybe I'll give this person another go, it's been a while. Oh, maybe I'll forgive that person because, maybe they really didn't mean to stab me in the eye socket and twist off the knife handle. It's that sort of a situation. So look, again, no big dangers. Stick with it. Ask yourself the questions, and like I said, just interview yourself. What's your motivation for this? Why do you want to do this? Do you want to do this? Why don't you want to do this? Just be like that. Okay? All right. Well, I hope that helped. Hi, guys. If you can't tell, I've had a bit of a wardrobe change. It's a little cold. Okay, so if you chose the citrine crystal, here we go. Just going to pull out the cards. While I do, I just want to again thank everybody for watching, and for those that have subscribed to YouTube. Hope these readings have been helping. If you do want a private reading, you can contact me at thegreenspsychic@gmail.com or through my socials. Also, if you're into TikTok and Instagram, you can follow me on there, because I'm going to start putting up shorter little videos about the individual cards, because it's very randomized. I digress. Okay. Let's see what cards you got. Okay. It's very confusing to try and look with my eyes, but also making sure I'm getting it on camera. Okay. Alright, so there's your cards. Okay. Hi guys, okay, so you saw those cards, so let's just jump straight in. The first card out, the overall card for your week ahead, or what's just ahead, is the summer card, and it's upside down. So it actually says, this is actually saying it's not a time to actually rest and relax. There's a lot to be done. Don't drag your feet. Do what you have to do. Okay? We get stuck in situations where we don't want to do it, and we shouldn't have to, and it's unfair and rah rah. But you're gonna have to do it. Okay? Because otherwise, well, look, if you don't make yourself food to eat, sooner or later you're gonna die, right? I'm the exception to that rule, but that's another story. So it is kind of like, it's not a time to sit back and relax, it's time to work hard. It's time to get things done. Now, the next card over is the conflict card, and the conflict card is upside down. So that's really, really good, because what I'm feeling with the summer card being upside down is that there's the need to be proactive this week, or do what you have to do, but there's this overwhelming feeling of not dread, but I really don't want to do this, I don't feel good about this, you're trying to put it off. And the conflict card is here saying, look, do it, because you can avoid conflict that way. Like, if you don't do it, there's going to be conflict. But basically what I'm saying is that by doing this, you're actually moving in the right direction. You're moving towards your own happiness, whether you realize it or not. Yeah, sometimes we have to do things we don't want to do, that we shouldn't have to do, that's not fair, that's not right, but we have to do what we have to do to survive in life. Yeah, injustice is the hardest thing in the world to live with. The next card over is the marriage card, and it's upside down. So it is kind of talking about a union of some sort coming to an end. Now, again, this is a general reading, I'm not actually feeling like marriages are coming to an end, but it could be the end of a friendship, the end of a phase of friendship, or the end of a relationship, end of a lease. But there is an ending of something, and I feel like that this is part of the don't sit back and relax, do what you have to do. It's kind of like rip the band-aid off here. So this end of the marriage, whatever it might be, it's part of what you're needing to do right now. And it's kind of like you can avoid conflict. There isn't going to be a big battle with this. So ending, whether it be on your part or somebody else is ending something with you, it's not going to lead to any big bad fallout, because I feel like this is a long time coming. Both parties have seen it coming. One might be at fault, the other might not be at fault, but even if you're not at fault, you can see something coming and there's nothing you can do. You just got to suck it up and accept that some people are assholes. So there is that kind of thing there. Now, I've got the illusion card here, and it's upside down. Okay, so this is actually kind of saying, look, you can see the writing on the wall. This isn't something you're making up in your head. If you're seeing signs that there's something not right, then something's not right, okay? It's not an illusion. This is what's happening. This change is needed. You're gonna have to go through with whatever this change is, whatever this movement is that you need to do, okay? Now I've got the best friend, the connection card. It's upside down. So look, I feel like whatever's going on at the moment it might not be big as in changing the world, but it is very emotional. And I feel like that those emotions are complex. There's stuff here connected to loyalty and long-term. This could be relating to a job that you've been at forever, and they're kind of like, well, we don't want you here anymore, fuck off. excuse my language. And it's kind of like, well, all I've done is work my ass off, and this is what I get in return. So there's that processing of betrayal, and I've wasted my life putting everything I've got into this job, and they're kicking me out the door. It's that sort of complex thing. So it's kind of like there's disconnect from you, because I feel like your head's going to kind of be spinning, because it's kind of like, well, this sucks. What did I do? Like, I didn't do anything wrong. Why am I in this situation? And there's the processing of that, and the emotions that go with that, and the accepting that, you can do everything right and still get slapped in the face. Unfortunately, that's a big part of life. That's what some people are like. Some companies just chew you up and spit you out. So it is a bit of that. Now, the next card over is the sex card. It's upside down. So look, it is kind of, well, yes, it is the sex card, but it's also desire. Okay, so this is kind of like you're making a decision, or you're being forced into a decision that you really don't want to make. If it was your choice, you wouldn't be making this decision, but I feel like it's out of your control. It's in somebody else's hands. They're making the decision. Like, you can see the writing on the wall. They've already made the decision. They might not have. This could be like your partner, and you can see that they're starting to check out other people, and they're suddenly messaging more than normal. You can see on the writing on the wall that your partner's over it, and they're about to cheat on you or something, and instead of having the balls to actually say, well, I know I'm doing wrong by you, but this is what I want, they're just going to go and cheat on you. So it's kind of like you have to step up and pull that band-aid off and go, look, obviously I'm in love with you, you're not, you want out, so let's call it a day before you cheat on me, because that'll be worse. It could be that you're perfectly happy in love, and this person's like, well, I don't want to do this. But again, it's the same as work. Work might be forcing you to retire, or they're, forcing you out because they're shrinking the company or something like that. Like, again, you can see it coming. You can normally see redundancies and all of that coming. And it's kind of like, well, I've done nothing to deserve this. If anything, the company's stuffed up, because they're the ones that have lost profit so much that they have to retrench staff. So again, it's not your desire, but a lot of times in those circumstances, a lot of places will, you can put your hand up for voluntary retirement, redundancy or whatever, rather than randomly picking a person that needs to go. So it's kind of like not the desire that you want. However, it is going to be the situation. This is the desire that you need. That's worded wrong. It's not the desire that you want, but it is what you need. Okay, because again, with the sex card, doesn't matter which way the card is, the magical symbol for sex is on this card, and it's the same both ways up. There's black and white in that symbol. There's color, and there's black, which is lack of color, on the card. So even though it's in the negative form here, because it is saying this isn't something that you want, there is a lot of good that comes with this. So I feel like that this is really about acceptance at this stage in the reading, because it's kind of like, look, you can't relax. You need to do this. You need to get your head around what's happening, all these changes. It is what you're thinking. You're not just being paranoid, so you can't use that as an excuse and put it off. No, you've got to process that. You are going to be disconnected. And this isn't what you wanted, but it's kind of like the universe is kind of like, I feel like that this is the universe is doing you a favor. Whether you can see it or whether you can't, this is going to end up being really good for you. And I'm feeling like whoever's got this reading, whoever's in this process at the moment, you're already starting to feel, you're already going to feel this week that, you know what, this sucks, but this is actually going to work out better for me. It's like a brand new start. Don't have to put up with all this bullshit, blah, 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 blah. There's going to be so much there, and it's actually going to turn into a good thing. I actually feel like you're going to end up getting excited the closer this comes to happening, because it's not something that's going to happen right now. It's something that's in the works. So again, this is where I'm being pulled to. You're hearing that, you know, your business is going to close down at Christmas. So up until then, you've got a job, but when Christmas comes around, after that, in the new year, you're going to have to find another job. So it's not going to be like right now, but it is coming. Now, I keep going to the work thing because it's a great analogy. I don't actually feel like a lot of people are in the work situation here. Some would be, but I feel like it's more personal, it's more relationships, because you've got the marriage card here, which is pretty emotional, something close to home. Okay, now the last card is the baby card. So the baby is brand new life. So again, I don't look at the cards until I get to them, but it goes with everything that I just said. It is, you know, this is going to end up being a really, really good thing for you. So of course there's a bit of shell shock to begin with. You've got to process, you've got to get through that emotion, which take your time. You know, it's totally normal to go through the rainbow of emotions when there's big change on the horizon. Okay, anger, frustration, you know, sadness, happiness, like stupid delight over stupid things, and you know, go through that range, because you're human and that's what we need to do. But at the end of it, I really feel like, again, that it's going to be a positive thing, that you're going to be like, oh my God, this is a brand new start. This is a brand new life. I'm loving it. Now, the symbol on this card is the symbol for like the meditation. It's that in symbol form. It's a symbol of time, past, present, future, all rolling into one. So it's like this whole cosmic thing. It's not just baby as in a baby is born, or a new life begins, or a new chapter begins. It's like this has a hint of destiny to it. So this change, again, I really feel is like really important. It's not something that you want, but it's something that I think you need. Okay. Okay, well, that brings us to the end of your reading for this week. I apologize. I know it wasn't the best news to get, but you know, some good weeks, some bad weeks. But I hope it helped in some way. See you guys. Hi guys. Okay, so if you made it through the video, congratulations. I hope that you've taken your reading and it resonates with you, or by the end of the week, I hope it resonates with you at least. Look, the overall theme this week has really been about injustice, I feel. There's been a lot about things not being your fault, but having to happen. Look, when you ask people in general what the hardest emotion to deal with, or the hardest thing to deal with in life, a lot of people go straight to loss and heartbreak, being cheated on, end of a relationship, all of that. I always say it is injustice, because there's very little that you can actively do to help deal with injustice in your mind. You know, unfortunately, losing somebody is part of life. But we have funerals, we have wakes, we have ways of remembering and grieving and dealing with that loss. Same as heartbreak. You know, a good 6 months after a heartbreak, you're pretty much on your way to recovery, because it is kind of like a withdrawal from being in that loving relationship. About 6 months, I say, is normally a good, a healthy space to be at, where you can at least function normally. I'm not saying that you're out dating somebody else, although some of us do that. But injustice is really the hardest thing to deal with. I've been surrounded by many clients the last 2 weeks that have been dealing with this, and this week there was different things coming up in different ways in the cards. So look, when something happens to you that's not fair, that's not your fault, somebody cheats on you, or you get fired or made redundant because the company's shrinking, or whatever the injustice is, being blamed for something that you didn't do, it's hard, because you can The natural order of things, the natural process is to get angry and frustrated and rage and rant and, and great, go through all of that if you need to. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But at some point, you have to make a choice. You have to make a choice whether to live with that anger and that rage and that frustration and never really deal with it and just keep whinging until people are like, oh my God, can you please stop talking? Or you can make the choice to not suck it up, but to process it, understand, and accept that, yeah, this isn't fair. What's happened to you is not right. It's you did nothing to deserve this. But accepting that and then moving forward with your life, it's a good stepping stone towards a happy life, because do you really want to live with that anger and frustration and that hurt and that pain all that time? Or do you want to actually go, you know what? It sucks. I didn't deserve that. I did everything right and I got stabbed in the back. But you know what? It is what it is. I've learnt lessons from this. I'm going to keep my eyes open more often with the people I trust and move forward. At the end of the day, it's kind of like, who do you want to be and how do you want to live your life? Do you want to be full of hate and anger and frustration, which bleeds into every other aspect of your life and everybody around you? Or do you want to be the type of person that can be like, well, this is hard, but I'm dealing with it and I'm accepting it. Doesn't mean you do that overnight. It takes time. But, it is part of life. Life isn't fair. We all know this. And that's why we get so angry and frustrated. But part of everybody has accepted that life isn't fair already. So when something comes out that's not fair, yeah, we can rage and rant and rave about it, or we can just go, it's another one of those things. Unfortunately, I'm going to not suck it up, because you need to process it. You need to get it out. Nobody's saying hold it in. You need to process these things. But I'm going to accept this and I'm going to move forward. And I'm not going to look back. Because normally when there is an injustice, something about that is from the universe stepping in and going, you know what, if you keep going like this, you're going to be in the same cycle for another 10 years. So, everything happens for a reason. I always say that, including the bad shit. And sometimes it's like the universe steps forward and makes a decision for us, because either we're too blind to see that the people around us are not trustworthy, or we're too in our comfort zone, or maybe we're too scared to make a change that we know we need to make. Whatever the case may be, sometimes the universe takes it out of our control. So I hope you found that helpful, guys. If you do want a full reading, by all means, you can contact me at thegreenspsychic@gmail.com, or you can contact me on Facebook. Until next week, I hope that helped. I'll see you then.